the new, this is like 10 years ago, but like the new like War on Drugs album had just come out. So I was like, I really want to listen to that. So I listened to that on repeat, and it's a great album. But now anytime I hear a song from it, I'm just like, oh, I'm getting my tooth pulled or whatever.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
It's literally, you can be like, oh, listening to it is like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be like, so I just listened to like Joe Rogan.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Podjiba, the Pajiba television podcast. I'm Pajiba comedy editor Dan Hamamura. With me, as always, are Pajiba managing editor Tori Preston.
Hello, Dan.
Hello, Tori. And his hip hop name is LL Bean Dip. Dustin Rolls.
Hello, Dan.
I know that it's an LL Bean and Bean Dip thing, but
yes, but
because LL
it's
Bean
better
is like
as a hip hop
thing,
name.
But yeah, drop a few bars for us, Dustin.
No, I will not.
Right. Come on. When you sing it, Harold's a really great episode. Every time.
That's not singing, that's rapping, and I don't know how.
Whoa. Excuse you. What do you mean rapping isn't singing?
Okay, what? All right. No, you're going to.
Wow. Okay. Wow, Dustin. Next, you're going to say it's not real music.
Jesus Christ.
Dustin really showing his dadness.
Okay, all right.
How many weeks in a row can we say that's the whitest thing you've ever done?
Well, anyway.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay.
Dustin, how are you liking Rivals? You still watching? Are you caught up?
I'm caught up completely, yes. I love Rivals. Yes, I do. I love Rivals.
Yay!
I think that last episode was not great, but the 4 episodes before it were.
Yeah. And you saw the kitchen scene?
Yes.
With all the
fantastic
closets?
Scene, yes.
Okay.
I'm very much enjoying it.
Okay.
Well, we'll get to that later.
I just remembered I was supposed to watch Rivals.
Oh, yes. I told you wouldn't.
I remembered, to my credit, I remembered after we recorded, I said, I'm going to watch Rivals this week, the first episode. And then I forgot. I remembered for like 30 seconds after.
That's okay. Should we set like a reminder for you?
I have
like
that
every
Finding
day?
Dory thing, you know.
You remember when you're in front of us?
Yes. The podcast just disappears from my memory the moment I'm not looking at the screen. Yeah. Which you can tell if you listen to the amount of editing I put in.
That's okay. I'm going to set Slack reminders like Dan, watch Rivals.
It should be anytime I type anything, then it just pops up and says, did you watch Rivals?
Did you watch Rivals?
It's really fun. And Tennant is like a really evil bastard. And he's unrelenting. It just won't end. You're like, dude, like give him a win. But no.
Yeah. Chill out. Settle down. Yeah, he's great. I just like that it seems like he's having a lot of fun not being, because I feel like a lot of times he pops up and he's just like kind of the hot guy, and or not that, he's a dad now, but he's just always like, even when he's supposed to be kind of gross, it's like he's still, charming and kind of attractive, whatever. And like in this,
he's just sleazebag.
He's sleazy, awful, and not actually like, I don't know what it is about how they shoot it or but like he is not, and it helps that he's surrounded by like very attractive people.
Yes,
but he's like not even the hot one at all by any stretch of the imagination.
Interesting.
Although,
so it's nice to see his talent shine and not just his face. I brought that up because I saw something, and I was going to ask you, because I don't watch the show, but now I'm like, do I need to watch the show? I heard he pops up in 4 Seasons.
Yes, that's what I was going to mention.
Okay.
He does. Yeah. very brief cameo at the end of the season, but he is super charming, and you're like, oh, fuck, David Tennant. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a really exciting sort of like, did you watch to the end, Dan?
No, we're only about halfway through. But I mean, I know that I knew about the cameo, so I'm not.
Yeah.
That doesn't spoil it. But
are they doing a third season? Like, do we know?
I hope so. He'd be great.
I don't think they've said yet. It's probably dependent on
how it does.
How well it does.
Yeah.
I mean, he's set up for the third season.
Yeah,
it's
I
a
heard
really
that,
good show. I mean, I like it.
It is really. It's weird that I don't know how they. I mean, I guess I do know how they got away with it because Tina Fey's behind it, but it's like they've managed to get someone to let them do a fairly low stakes show. Like most of the shit. I mean, I don't know what happened to the back of this season, and obviously season 1 has some tragedy, but it's like mostly fairly low stakes and just people saying jokes and getting into very light comedic situations.
Yeah. And we need that.
Yeah.
We do. It was so relaxing just to watch that.
Yeah.
And then I finished it in like 2 days, unfortunately, and had no more to watch. Coleman Domingo is so good in it. Oh my God.
The whole cast is really good. Stephen Pasquale looks different.
He got old.
I was like, oh, but he's not that old. But he does feel like he went. You're right. He does feel like he jumped from looking like very youthful to suddenly like, well, looking his
middle
age. I guess. Maybe that's the
right.
way
Yes.
Like, because he did
that
look
how
young
it
for a long
happens?
time.
Do you just like
one
fall
day
off
you
a
wake up and
precipice?
you look your age? Yeah, I think so. It'll never happen to me.
I still get carded sometimes, and it makes me really excited.
Okay, I don't get carded.
Because then they look at the card and they're like, and they look at me and they like, and I'm like, I know. I look great. I don't look great, but I appreciate that, like, I look just good enough that it's mildly surprising I'm in my 40s. So that precipice is coming up real fast.
The last time I got carded, which wasn't really, it was already several years ago, and it was like one of those. It was like one of the delivery. Someone sent me alcohol things, and like now I think they actually have to scan your ID, but back then it was just check your ID, and so the woman like dropped it off, and then I was like, "Oh, do you need my ID?" She's like, "Do I need your ID?" And I'm like, "No." She's like, "Oh, look, you want me to?"
So you basically carded yourself.
I self-carded.
Yeah.
And but now they have to scan it, so that makes me feel nothing. But speaking of alcohol, Dustin, what are you drinking?
Grapefruit and vodka.
All right.
Out of a giant mason jar.
And a giant mason jar today.
And it's like, I'm assuming it was genuinely full when you started, because you've been drinking at it pretty well, and it's still pretty full. So you had it like
to the top.
Yeah, it was to the top. Do you make it with a lot of vodka?
A decent amount. It's like 2 or 3 glasses worth of vodka because it's like a big drink.
When you say glasses, what's the glass?
No. Like a normal drink. So this is like 3 drinks.
Oh,
so it's like 3 shots of vodka.
Oh, got it. Okay. Because a glass can be a lot of different sizes.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Tori, what canned cocktail do you have?
I have the vodka crush, which is blood orange mango.
Very nice. I still have Sapporo because the beer goes very slowly now. So I'll have it probably for a couple more weeks.
Has it been getting hot there? Is it always hot there?
It's finally getting warm. So that's why it was a good time to switch to beer anyway. But
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's weird. We're in that weird stretch where it is either way too hot, at least for what we've been used to, or it still gets like that June gloom,
Yeah.
coastal fog thing. So then weirdly, like you'll go to bed and it's warm, and then you wake up and somehow it's like in the low 50s, and you're like, "What happened?"
Yeah, like, hey.
I was prepared for summer, but
Yeah. We had a storm that I don't think it did it here, but like there was like warnings of hail. Like one of those like thunderstorms where like randomly you'll get hail.
Which is better than a meteor explosion. Sort of. Not as exciting, I guess.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't get to see that, did you? That was
I
just like
didn't get to know.
Massachusetts.
Yeah. No meteor explosion here.
Are we sure it was a meteor, or was it like an alien spacecraft that's going to like Spielberg us over the summer? Is this like ultimate disclosure day marketing?
That would be really good.
I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Like, just send the aliens. They won't stick around.
They're like, no, thank you. This is your leader? Fuck off.
Never mind. That would be the best. Like, I feel like I would be so delighted. I mean, like, whatever. Like, just if Trump had to actually represent our country.
Oh my
like,
God.
Extraterrestrial, like, life forms, like, as the leader, that would it would be funny and sad. Just like having him as represent us in any way, shape, or form is sad.
Yes.
Anyway, we're fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's
totally
fine.
Gonna get through it just fine.
So Dustin, is that how you felt about the Euphoria finale? I haven't seen it or any of it, so I just want to know.
Well, Coleman Domingo is also in Euphoria.
Oh.
And he also plays a very charming, nice man in Euphoria. And then they assassinated his character. Not
what?
Like they didn't kill him. They like ruined his character.
Oh, okay.
How?
So like, well, for 3 seasons, he's like the sponsor. He's like the guy who takes care of the addicts, and he's sweet and peaceful and like this great guy. And he loses a lot of people because he's dealing with addicts. And then Rue dies, Zendaya's character.
Wait, she does?
She does. Put that girl through the ringer for 3 fucking seasons, and everything that Sam Levinson could throw at her, she somehow survived. And then she took a Percocet laced with fentanyl and died after like surviving this harrowing heist chase. Gets dragged by a horse, shot at, but she's in so much pain from getting dragged by a horse that she takes a Percocet, and it happens to have fentanyl in it, and she dies. And so Coleman Domingo's character sort of snaps. He relapses. He stops being a sponsor to all these kids, gives up the AA life, and is like, fuck this. Gets a sawed-off shotgun and goes like full Tarantino on the guy who gave Rue fentanyl. And like, there's an actual duel in a bar. In a strip joint. I'm sorry, it's a strip joint. There's a duel. And yeah, Coleman Domingo's character wins and shoots the guy with a shotgun 3 times, and then goes to this evangelical family and finds peace there.
And this is a show.
That's how Euphoria
This is a show
ends.
that aired.
And she had become a PI, is that right?
No.
In this season? No.
That was Veronica Mars.
I thought that she became all right, Dustin. I thought that there was some kind of like, but there's like a crime element in season 3, right?
She
that's the
became an informant for the DEA.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's basically the same thing.
Sort of, but she was still like working for these drug dealers. It's just happened she was also helping the DEA set up this bust. that ultimately failed after all the shit she did, which is why the guy who was supposed to get busted was able to give her Percocet laced with fentanyl. So he got off scot-free till Allie, Coleman Domingo's beautiful, wonderful character, blew him away.
So you're saying we should watch Euphoria or no?
No, you shouldn't.
This was a show about
Cassie,
school kids, right?
It used to be, yes.
Right. Okay.
Cassie has been an OnlyFans model
Is this
all season
Sydney
long.
Sweeney's character?
Yes, she's been hustling and doing stuff mostly to raise money to save her husband, Nate Jacob Elordi, from like these people he's in debt to. But it didn't work. They buried him alive, and she had to get $1 million to save him. And she got the $1 million. And then the same guy that Coleman Domingo's character killed last week, he brought the $1 million, but then killed the guys that were holding Nate, buried underground. So they got to him in time, or they would have gotten to him in time, except a rattlesnake went down his windpipe into his coffin, buried under the ground. So when they opened up the coffin, he had been bitten several times by this rattlesnake and was dead and blown, bloated and disgusting. That's Euphoria.
Do we think Sam Levinson is going to have a career after this?
I mean, it's so much better than The Idol, and yet,
Well, I mean, yeah.
I don't. If people want to knock off Tarantino bullshit, I have no idea. I don't know.
What was the original appeal of the show? Because obviously, season 3 is not representative of like what people thought they were getting into when they started it. So, like, what was the original appeal?
Wasn't it something about like this is like dark high school, like this is the kind of shit that kids are going through these days? Like I feel like it had those kinds of like warnings for like
it felt like like updated HBO version of Skins. Was the impression I got.
Yes, with probably more drugs and sex than Skins.
Well, yeah, obviously.
It was just very dark and people died.
I don't know. Skins had quite a lot of drugs and sex, but probably not as many hard drugs.
But Skins had, I don't know, there was like a lighter, I mean, it was funny at times. Euphoria is never funny.
It's never funny.
No. He's very serious man.
Just sounds awful. But I'm glad you watched it.
Breaking Bad crossed with Skins. And Tarantino, and really bad.
But bad. I'm glad you
like those three things, but not good.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of impressive, taking things that are usually very good and just making them worse.
Yeah, but it also had, Zendaya, so she's great in it. And Jacob Elordi is Jacob Elordi, and Sydney Sweeney. So they got famous from it. Or two of them did. I think Zendaya would have been fine without it.
She was fine, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's done and Hacks is done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you guys watch the Hacks finale?
I did.
I have not yet. I have not watched the last season. I have to, I'm going to like binge that at some point. Yeah.
I thought it was a good finale.
That's what it sounds like.
It was fine.
Did you not like the fake out?
Well, Tori, there might be spoilers. Do you care? Or...
No, it's fine.
Okay. I didn't. I thought it was fine. I was expecting the fake out because they were not the people who felt like they could go through with that.
Yeah.
To me, like, I mean, the creators, like, I didn't feel like they were.
Oh.
It never felt like they were making that kind of show where they would end with death.
Yeah.
So I mean, I didn't have evidence for it, but I was like, I don't think this is actually going where it goes or where they're saying.
Yeah.
The other thing was that it felt, I think it was. I mean, it was a good finale. I was happy enough with where it ends. I would have wanted a little bit for all of the things that they do in the finale. It felt like it should have been spread out a little more over the season. Like there are a couple of hints to what happens, but not enough to make it feel like it felt like a very sharp turn in a way where like this episode's suddenly kind of a different show.
Yes. Well, I was hoping that they would show more of the stand-up special.
It's very hard to do good stand-up and I mean they have good stand-ups on the writing staff, but it's that's not worth it.
I know, but it was like it was the climax of her
It doesn't
career.
matter.
This is the big comeback.
You know that she did it.
I guess so.
Was it just a montage with like
well, that's the second to last episode, but that one it's just basically like you get her preamble like launching into it, like her thanking everybody before she starts her special, and then that's pretty much that's all we see. Yeah.
She gets on stage and I think she tells one joke and then it ends.
Yeah. Yeah, like she gets on stage and like you get to see just the start of it.
Yeah.
Which I think that's fine. It's never going to live up to your expectations. That's what sunk Studio 60. People didn't like the sketches.
No, but it's true. Like if you're making, I would feel the same way. Like I always want to see if there's a stand up or like I want to see what the product is, like what they're working on. And I know it's really hard and almost like never quite works, but it's still like, how do you invest in these creators' journeys if you don't get to see, if you can't fully imagine, if to me, like if even the writers or the creators can't also then see that vision through.
Right.
To tell us like why they matter. And like, and it happens a lot where you just see like the big speech just ends up being like a montage. It doesn't have to be like, comedy or whatever, but it's something I noticed with comedy.
Yeah.
That said, I think, and this is one of those, like, I don't know if it's better or worse, but I do think it was intentional. Did you see is this thing on the Will Arnett?
I did.
The Bradley Cooper movie, right?
I loved that.
They show a lot of the stand-up in it, and I thought it was really funny. Not funny, I mean, like, because the stand-up was so mediocre, which makes sense.
But he's supposed to be bad, right?
Because he's supposed to be bad, because he's starting out and he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's not very good. But in a way, because you know that it's based on John Bishop, who's like it's like, was he also just really bad at stand-up? Like, how did he then go on to become like John Bishop? Like, and so I spent a lot of the movie just sitting there going like, it occurs to me, I've never seen John Bishop stand up. Maybe he's terrible.
Or like the show where Pete Holmes played a version of Pete Holmes.
Oh, I saw that too.
And was just as good at stand-up as Pete Holmes is at stand-up.
Yeah, he was. But this show on Hacks was going to be about what, Bob Lipkick and getting kicked off. I thought that was going to be good material. Getting fired, and taking down him and the network or whatever. I don't know.
I guess so. I feel like they did. I mean, that they kind of had that kind of ending last season.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
With her, I guess not ending because not the Singapore episode, but.
Yeah, I mean, that was her walking away from her late night show.
Yeah.
Was like the big F you to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's the question. Did the show finally, because like the issue was, as good as Hacks was, it very much got into that like rinse and repeat cycle of Deborah and Ava like work together, have a falling out, are separate for a while, realize they need each other, like come back together. And it's, Deborah's career is up and down, like, did it break that cycle? And
it does, but in a way that it does in a way that I like and have not a problem with, but I think is a challenge because they're not really at odds this season. Like they're pretty much on the same team for the entire season, which is nice. Like it is actually nice to get to experience that. But it also means that there really wasn't as much conflict. So like a lot of the conflict this season is external, by which I mean like it's a quest. They have to go on some quest to fix this one thing because she has this goal at the end of the season, which is Madison Square Garden. And then like something else comes up and she needs to fix that somehow. And then, but it's all just, it's very like, this is going to sound like a dig. It's not, but it's very like Entourage. Where it's just like, oh, we have this big thing at the end of the season. We have a small hiccup that, oh no, it's going to ruin everything. Oh, look, we fixed it. And then the next episode is similar. It's just a different hiccup. Yeah. So, I mean, weirdly, the Jimmy and Kayla had a better arc because their arc is much more dramatic. And they have actual, like, not between themselves, but like they have an actual conflict with an actual enemy versus like Deborah has, and I mean, she still has, what's the name, the president from Scandal.
Bob.
But he's much more of like he does appear in the season, but he's much more like just a specter hanging overhead versus something that, you know, like he's not as much of a direct, in as much direct conflict until he pops up, you know, when he pops up. I don't know. Everyone
Deborah
got
and Ava do fight a lot, but there was never any like question that they were gonna. I mean, they would.
It's not the same.
They were gonna make
kind of
up the next day, right?
I think
they were bickering.
But
so there is a really good episode where they have to be a couple.
Nice,
which was really funny.
That felt like maybe the most sitcom-y episode of the series, but it was fun. They had to go to Cherry Jones's house. And Cherry, who is it? Cherry Jones and
Leslie Bibb.
Yeah, are a couple.
Oh,
and
that's
they have
cute.
to pretend to be a couple in front of them.
And then Leslie Bibb tries to get Ava to have like a threesome, but Ava's
was it a threesome or was it just she just wanted to hook up with her?
Well, okay, they would say they had an open marriage,
right?
And but in this fictional relationship they had, Deborah did not want to have an open marriage,
so Ava couldn't.
Right.
And I'm sure she was not happy about that because she could have hooked up with Leslie Bibb.
Exactly.
That sounds amazing.
See, it was.
That's the hacks I know and love.
Yeah, there were pleasant episodes. It was a fun season. I don't know. It's weird because I feel like as much as I enjoy the show, I wonder how much it's going to stick with me, like in my brain as like something that I want to revisit in the same way that like other sitcoms that, you know, become like, because it's not quite sitcom comfort food in the way that like Brooklyn Nine-Nine is or Parks and Rec or stuff like that. And it's also not quite, I don't know, it's very good, but it doesn't hit. It feels like it's very good in all directions, but there's always something that like if you were to ask me like, oh, do I want to rewatch this or do I want to rewatch something else? There's always gonna be something else that's either funnier or more dramatic and weird or more emotional or, you know, so I don't know. But good show.
I will finish the season. I do genuinely like that.
Yeah, it's worth finishing. But
yeah. I do agree, like it doesn't feel like your kind of comfort food, but I also think I did really always admire just the relationships in it and like I don't know. And the writing I thought was often maybe not the season long plots, but in any given scene.
Yeah.
I was always like, oh man, like the writing, the way the characters talk to each other, the sort of self-awareness and how fully formed Ava and Deborah were, like as kind of characters that were specific enough to not be caricatures, but also like really encapsulated so much of like you know, women's experience of just like existing in the workforce or the world or whatever. Like I I will miss the hole that is left when Hax leaves. Like
Yeah.
that's, and I hope there's something else that can. I hope we get more shows like that. That's my 2 cents.
Well-
More good shows.
David Kelly is going to make the cop version of The Pit for HBO. So there you go.
Oh, cool. Let's take a good show and then make it propaganda.
No, it's a Michael Connelly character. Come on.
I feel like we're talking about fully formed women characters, and you're talking about Michael
David
Connelly
Kelly
show.
writes really good, fully formed women.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, have you not seen Big Little Lies
Mm.
or Margot?
Okay.
David Kelly writes all the best women shows.
Wow.
Oh, Dustin. No, I'm sorry. I'm having my feelings about this has nothing to do with David E. Kelly or anything. This is more that my son started watching Paw Patrol, and I'm still processing that as a parent.
Tori.
Because I don't know what's worse, that it's
No, I know.
it's baby propaganda, even though it's not just cops, but like it feels like that.
Right.
And also it's like a genuinely shit awful show.
It really is bad.
Like it is. And I was like, it's dumb. It's like badly animated. The storylines are terrible. Like everything about it is awful. But and my husband put it, he's like, no, it's just there to move merchandise. Like it is a show built to sell toys. Like it is the most vacuous thing I've ever seen. And like kids eat it up. And I've shown my son better shows. And it drives me nuts that every once in a while he's like, no, but I want to watch more of this. And I'm like, no.
You could just quietly ban it.
How?
You just
say it's not available anymore.
You just lie.
Kids don't know. And then turn on Caillou, and then you'll find something you really hate.
Okay. No one needs to get murdered.
I did like in desperation. I was like, okay, we'll watch one more episode. We'll finish this episode of Paw Patrol, and then let's try something new. And then I was just frantically looking for anything else. And Peppa Pig was there, and I was like, let's do Peppa Pig. And that's better. It is better. It's like obviously better quality, but also just like annoying in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, whatever, I don't care. It's
Sometimes
not
you just
goddamn Paw Patrol.
need I think my kids like Peppa Pig. They had a small Paw Patrol phase. I don't think it lasted long.
Oh, I don't think it'll last long with him either. I think I did at one point get him watching the original Darkwing Duck. And I think he liked it. I think the problem is I keep pushing things with real plots on him, and he's like not quite there, but he also like kind of gets into it. Especially if they're like a little scary. So I'm like,
a year or two, you get him hooked on Phineas and Ferb. That's the good stuff.
Yeah. Look, I just want him to plow through all of the Muppet Show. That's my goal. I'm like, just keep watching the Muppet Show. What more do you need? It's got musical acts. You'll learn about pop culture from the 70s, but like it's okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Vintage.
Fine. Vintage.
Anyway. It's all flattened now. All pop culture is just 1 year now for some reason because of streaming and everything. It's all the same.
I was thinking about like one of the things that I miss, I feel like I miss for kids is like not just the idea of going into a video store or DVD store or whatever, right? But like the idea of like when you got a movie, it had trailers, and it had trailers for upcoming because it was like the coming soon, but then it would have like now on VHS, like now on home video.
Yeah.
So you would end up watching the same trailer for like a year and a half on different movies because it spanned that whole period. So you'd see the same trailer over and over and over again. So there were movies that like I just irrationally hated because of the trailer, like Last of the Mohicans.
Oh my God.
I hate Daniel Day-Lewis because I saw the trailer for Last of the Mohicans too often. So now I cannot take him seriously ever. But then there were other movies that like took on this like mythic quality in my brain to the point where like I was scared to watch them because I didn't want them to not live up to it. And I was wondering, like, were there any movies like that for you guys that you like based just on trailers you saw on videos or DVDs that you either became
The-
like obsessed with or hated or like, because like mine was Dr. Giggles.
Oh, I saw Dr. Giggles.
I didn't. I saw it a couple years ago as an adult, but when I was a kid, I was so obsessed with the trailer for it. I was like, "This is the world's most perfect movie." Like, I cannot imagine a premise better than this, and I'm like, afraid it will let me down, so I will not watch this movie. I wanted to
And
save it for like when, and then yeah, and it lived up to it. It was great. It was wonderful. It
oh,
was
it did. Oh,
it was
good,
everything. It
good.
was everything I wanted Dr. Giggles to be, the horror movie about the insane doctor with a scalpel.
I can think of two off the top of my head. One is I've never seen it, and I feel like it doesn't exist, although I know it does exist. Little Monsters, which was Fred Savage and Howie
Oh, I
Mandel.
rember that.
I've never
Yeah.
seen
saw
it, but I've seen the trailer many times on
Yes.
something. And then the other one that comes to mind, which I saw the trailer 100 times, and I have seen the movie, and it's perfect, is Major League. But like the Major League trailer was like playing on these tapes, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. I'm pretty sure I'm too young for it, but I want to see this movie.
I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Major League trailer. I remember that a lot.
I don't remember any specific trailers. I do remember like renting a 5-year-old movie and seeing trailers for movies that were 5 years old.
Yeah. And it was just great because if you went in and were watching because it was like that was a problem with it was it became this perfect time capsule. So you were always seeing what's coming out or what's already,
Right.
of that moment. And then the store would just still have it. But I did like the feeling of like every time I went in for new releases and like getting that glimpse and then seeing when the other things came in and like, I don't know.
My favorite
video
thing,
store experience was like the best.
Yeah.
You go there on a Friday night and you hang out with your friends and just
Our rental store figured out that my mom let me watch a lot of. I mean, he got used to my mom and I going in because we'd always every Friday we'd go in and get 2 movies together and watch them. My mom, like let me watch a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have watched. And the guy was used to it. So he would recommend movies to us that were not appropriate. So that made it even weirder. So he'd be like, the one I remember was when he told my mom, like, "Oh, a new movie came in. You guys are gonna love it. It's called Train Spotting." And I'm like, 12? And he's telling her about it. He's like, "No, you guys are gonna love it." And then he stops and he goes and like looks at me and looks at her and like this is the only thing he warns her about. He's like, "Well, there is the one scene with a baby crawling through some heroin needles. So I don't know how you feel about that, with your daughter." Doesn't warn her about the toilet swimming in the poop, doesn't warn her about any of the other things that happen in the drug addict movie. But wants to call out that just in case you're not sure that your 12-year-old should watch this, there is an infant crawling through needles. And my mom was like, "That's fine." We rented it.
This is why Backroom sucks. Because you got people like
No needles?
directors growing up on YouTube instead of in video stores like in the old days.
Yeah. If there was one thing I would fix. Like I'd like, you get rid of AI, clean up the environment. There's like all kinds of things. But I do think a lot about like, how do we reinstitute video stores? Make people walk into a building and peruse things by hand and not trust an algorithm to help you discover things. I want to trust trailers.
And
marketing.
or like
Steve's wall, like Steve who works there and has worked there for far too long, but he has his picks and they're good if you happen to have the same taste as Steve. And sometimes it's a little weird, but it's okay.
Yeah. He's been paying attention though.
God.
But that's why like I've been excited. I mean, it is weird, but like seeing how just the fact that Tales from the Crypt, the show, is back on streaming now, and they're putting it on. What is it like every week? There's a new season on Shudder or something. Like there's been a big push over like actually having, because I guess Tales from the Crypt was never really on streaming.
Oh, that's interesting because I was watching something today. Oh, I was watching Widow's. Whoa, it was Widow's Bay, but it was on Amazon and it finished. And when I told you I fell asleep,
Yeah.
But when I woke up, Tales of the Crypt was on. I was like, oh, what?
Yeah, it was immediately like, boom, this is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. God, video stores.
I know that's movies, not television, but
No,
I
it's
know.
part of it.
people
Do
should
you remember
definitely watch
You're watching it on TV.
Doctor
The Frankenhooker box. Everybody remembers the Frankenhooker box.
Of course. It's like, what? Or like, what was the one? Boxing Helena. Did you remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know
Where everyone was like, David Lynch's daughter directed a movie, and and then like it wasn't very good.
It was not very good.
It was not very good. It should have been better.
Yeah, it was like a woman who lost all of her appendages, but still had sex.
Well, I think, didn't her arms and legs get cut off by the guy who was obsessed with her?
Oh, that sounds right.
Yeah, but it was Sherilyn Fenn from Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
But like, I was just like the Evil Dead or Army of Darkness, like all of those boxes. It's like great cover art.
You're going to see, speaking of David Lynch, you're going to see Backroom someday, and people keep saying David Lynch when they make him. It's like, dumb. No, just weird does not mean David Lynch.
Exactly.
You have to. It's got to be like David Lynch. This is not. This is just slow and boring and weird. That's not.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, David Lynch could be slow and boring and weird, but in a very Lynchian way.
It had something else to it.
Yes. God.
So I take it they didn't have random 7-minute scene of just a dude sweeping the floor in a bar.
No, that would have been great.
I feel like we're ready for another Twin Peaks: The Return rewatch.
I don't think so.
Oh,
no.
That's true. Tori, you did win the game last week, so you probably could suggest it for Dustin.
Do I get to pick something for us to watch? Well, no, I really don't want to push my luck. Dustin's already watching Rivals. I just need Dan to watch Rivals.
I will remember, maybe.
We'll remind you.
I'm going to watch the entirety of Friday Night Lights with my kids this summer. And here's the thing that I heard today that upset me. Friday Night Lights is 20 years old.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise you? I thought, oh my God, I am closer to death now than the beginning of Friday Night Lights.
I mean,
that's a dark way to put it.
Not true.
It's possibly true.
It's always possibly true.
Okay, I hear you.
Like anything could happen at any time. This is not a useful metric. But
20 years old.
There are a lot of things. Should we do an episode that's just, can you believe this thing is over 20 years old now? And it's just things that we all will. That would be a good game.
That's a fun idea. Yeah. Things that are over 20 years
20 years old that feel like they were yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. It's the it still works if it's 2004, but if it's like 2002, it doesn't, because they didn't have HD yet. I think the transition was around 2002, 3, 4. So the picture quality. So my kids never could get really into Felicity because the picture quality sucked.
Oh.
But they loved Veronica Mars, which was like 3 years later because it was in HD. Yeah.
And they only watched The West Wing from season 3 when it became HD.
Oh, they have not seen that. I would never inflict that on my poor kids. I don't want to give them an unfair illusion of the world.
No, all you have to do is think about it as a fantasy series, which it is.
Yeah,
it is.
It really is.
Even then, it was mostly fantasy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not like Sports Night. Sports Night, absolutely realistic.
You're
Which is
gonna make
why
him
it's
watch.
the
What
best
was the other
Sorkin
one?
series.
The Network.
Studio.
What was the one
Oh, the Newsroom.
The Newsroom.
I will contend that the Newsroom was better than people give it credit. It's also worse than it should have been.
Yes.
But it's also mostly remembered now for that one like 90-second sequence in the Terry Schiavo episode
scene,
that like, or the 9/11 one, or the anyway, just like all the insane like end of episode moments, like climaxes that have gone around as memes now is like, I feel like the only way people remember the Newsroom. But
it was sort of the Euphoria of its day. I loved to watch it, and it was bad. Not in that way. It's just like Euphoria is a bad show, but it is also entertaining. I will concede.
I mean, you had me at Jacob Elordi sucking on a snake windpipe. I have to admit, like, I have never had like an iota of interest in Euphoria. Like, there was never a chance I would ever watch that show until you told me that Jacob Elordi got buried alive and then a snake went down the pipe, and I was like, fuck, do I need to watch 3 seasons of this show to see that one scene? Because that sounds fantastic.
I mean, there's a lot of fucked up shit in it that you would probably appreciate, but it's just fucked up in a way that's so derivative it makes you mad.
Yeah. It's not even creatively interesting, like original levels of messed up. Yeah.
But it also thinks it's really profound, which is that's what really pisses me off, because he thinks he's being like really clever
Deep.
or smart or deep, and he's just not. I don't know why, but he just gives me, I don't even know what Sam Levinson looks like, but he gives me Max Landis vibes.
Not
because
inaccurate.
Because he's a Nepo director.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Mm.
Wow. Speaking of Nepo babies, Nick Cage is fantastic in Spider-Noir, and that's all you need to know.
That sounds like Nick Cage is fantastic and this show kind of sucks.
So, no, actually.
No.
That's the weird thing.
Oh.
The show was much better than I was expecting.
Again, it is a cartoon, right?
No, it's not a cartoon. Live action.
Oh.
And they do this whole gimmick where there's 2 versions of it, where there's a black and white like monochrome version because it's like film noir, and then they do what's called true hue, which is like the super saturated color, so it's like not quite realistic, but it's supposed to be reminiscent of like when they would colorize black and white movies.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. Okay. So there's 2 versions. So if you're dealing with like kids who definitely can't deal with black and white, like you have a color option, but the black and white is like the way to go. It is much better than I was expecting. You don't need to know anything about Marvel Comics because it plays real fast and loose. Like, there are some characters where the names like you would recognize, but everything about the character is different for the most part, including like Nick Cage's character in it isn't even, it's like not even the same version of the character from Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh. Okay.
Like they took the idea. It's like supposed to be like same character, different universe. It's like like in that one, he was a Peter Parker who was from this like, the 1930s, this like film noir, like whatever universe. Here, he's like Ben Reilly. It's a whole different setup. He's like this private eye, and there's all this stuff going on. There are a few other superpowered humans, and there's a case that involves like a femme fatale and a gangster, and like somebody trying to like cure these people of their superpowers, but like Spider-Noir is the one, and he's called the Spider in it, which is like kind of referencing like the old radio serials.
Yeah. Like the Shadow.
Like Shadow and stuff. Yeah. And you find out like how they all got their powers is connected, but like the noir elements work better than the comic book elements. The comic book elements like literally barely, like you don't need to know anything about the comics, which is great because it was never important. It's not really it's not based on the comics really at all. The noir elements do work. Like the case is good. Nick Cage is doing this like Humphrey Bogart thing, which weirdly works for him because he's doing it that, but also slapstick and funny. Like it's very all over the place.
Yeah.
But
Humphrey Bogart and Raising Arizona.
well, yeah. So he's talked about how his character his performance is like 70% Humphrey Bogart, 30% Bugs Bunny, and you watch it and you're like,
God.
that tracks.
Okay,
Like that's yep, that tracks. But what's great about it is like, and I'm not saying it's perfect, but it seems like some of the things that are like kind of the goofiest are intentional, like the stunt doubles they use, like when he pulls on his mask and he's in his superhero costume and does stuff. The stunt double is like not even trying to have the same physique as Nick Cage. It's like you've got like kind of little past his prime overweight dude, and then like pulls on the mask and suddenly he's like this matchstick. And you're like, but it's like so in your face that it becomes like part of it. It's still just funny. And Cage's performance, like his line delivery, a lot of the like, it's a much funnier show than I was expecting, with like a pretty good mystery at the heart of it, and like the cast is great.
All right, adding it back.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm sorry.
Took it off.
Is it? Have
it.
you tried visually? Is there a preference between like the monochrome and the oversaturated?
I prefer the monochrome. Like you can kind of tell that's what it was really intended for.
Mm-hmm.
But the saturated is really pretty.
Oh, okay.
Like and I just think that some of the elements pop more. I think like the color version is probably easier to watch overall, but I do think like some of the shots were clearly designed to have the high contrast.
Yeah.
And it just works really well. But yeah, there are scenes in it that are hysterically funny. Like there's a whole thing where like you go and it like builds, because in the beginning it's a little weird. 'Cause you're like, what? Like it takes a little bit. Not that the show I think doesn't know what it's trying to be, but I think for the audience to like get on the same wavelength as the show, because you start out kind of going like, is that bit intentional? Like, is this supposed to be funny, or is it like what like where am I? Like, why am I watching a film noir? Is this even comic booky? Like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And the last 2 episodes, it's like everything clicks the right way, and it's also the point in the story where Nick Cage like is really able to go off, and some of the things are amazing. Like it turns out he's thought his assistant, because he's a private eye and he has this assistant, and he thought she didn't know that he was the spider like the whole time. And so he like gets drunk and like reveals that he's a spider, and he's like, oops, I shouldn't have told you. And then she just starts laughing and she's like, I've known. And then it does this like cut to a montage of every time she's walked into his office when he's drunk. And he's hanging from the ceiling just going like, I'm the spider. And it's like, I don't know. It's
all right.
And it's Nick Cage. It's great.
All right. That does sound entertaining.
Yeah. But it's also just kind of nice to watch something where you're like, I do not think there would ever be a second season of this. There shouldn't really have been a first season of it. It makes no sense. It's not really Marvel because it's Sony, but Sony's not going to do anything with it. It's just, it feels like despite all the studios involved and everything that you think goes along with a comic book show these days,
mm-hmm.
You watch it and it feels like just a vanity project. You're just like, cool.
I'll watch that.
Yeah.
But I'm taking the terror off in its place. I can't do both. I gotta do one or the other.
Have you started
No.
Devil in Silver? No.
No. I got up on From. That was my big.
I mean, yeah, you
thing.
have to. I know. Well, and yeah, the terror, I like it enough, but it's not the thing that I'm jumping to watch when it's like, I don't think I watched last week's episode yet. Like Dan Stevens is great. I like some of the other people, and it's Asaf Manvi, it's Stephen Root, it's like all the people that you like. The show just kind of doesn't do anything for me yet. Like I'll stick with it, but I'm kind of like, and I think we're spoiled with horror shows because you watch things like that, and I'm like, well, okay, obviously it's no Legion, and that makes me upset. But it's also like we've had things like Evil, we've had like everyone in it has done better horror shows or more shows that grabbed me more. And I don't know if this is just a particularly slow burn or if it's just kind of boring.
I'll skip that.
Yeah, skip it. I'll tell you if it's worth catching up on. If it ever gets worth it. Or just go back and watch Legion.
I'll skip that too.
No. What? I do have to say I'm happy that he was in 2 episodes of Widow's Bay, but I love Hamish Linklater and I loved his part in the show, and I'm so sad that it's like his part is over because it was such a fun
he is great
thing.
I do love him. God, that was a really good episode.
It was a really good
episode. Both
of
those episodes were really good.
Yeah. Because the first one, you're like, it's the flashback, and it's mostly Betty Gilpin. You're like, okay, well, that's great.
Yes.
And, he's there. And then the second one where it's like, and we've dug up his body, and he's still alive, and it's just like zombie Hamish Linklater eating Vienna sausages out of a can. I was just like...
I'm really curious for next week. I thought that was the finale, but it wasn't the finale.
We couldn't know.
Meanwhile, I watched Audacity last week, and I was so excited for this week's finale, but it turns out last week was the finale.
What?
I was like, damn
yeah,
it.
you were so stoked for that show.
Yes.
It's over?
Well, the first season, but they've already renewed it for the second, maybe the third too. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Are there what shows? What's coming out soon? What's coming out this summer?
Cape Fear is this week.
Yeah, no.
The chef is coming back. The bear. Not
chef.
suitable for work. Dan, do you know what not suitable for work is?
Is that the Mindy Kaling?
Probably. It's Hulu comedy.
No, that sounds...
looks Gen Z-ish.
Mindy
The Witness
Kaling,
comes out. I don't know what the fuck that is. That's it for this week.
I just want the new season of Adults.
Oh, Interview with the Vampire comes out on Sunday.
It does. I thought it was coming out. So Vampire Lestat is the title.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, that's coming back.
Right.
And Wrexham's back. If anybody's still watching that, I still love it.
At what point? How long are they going to go? Because didn't they sell the team?
I think they show the stake in it, but they're still like
managing it, funding it.
They're still.
Well, they
still own enough that they can be in the show.
That they can do the show. And then I'm assuming since the HBO stuff just wrapped, does that mean House of the Dragon comes back on Sunday?
Oh yeah, that's coming back soon. Maybe the next couple weeks.
That's in 3 weeks.
Okay.
Oh, The Agency comes back too. I hated that show. And the Legally Blonde and Big Brother, of course.
Well, yeah, of course.
And Love Island USA. I'm not going to watch it. Oh, before we sign off, Dan, you want to talk about Top Chef? Just to.
I do want to talk about Top Chef. The duck's about to quack, but so Dustin, you're caught up now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this season of Top Chef has been fine. It's generally still pleasant, except there has been one person who has had an odd edit and felt kind of grumpy at times this season. It was Seeger, who's always been kind of in the middle, but he was eliminated about halfway through, but then through like a weird fluke because one of the contestants was injured and like they eventually just had to pull her because she couldn't compete enough, and she got a palsy attack, I think. But anyway, so he ended up getting a shot, getting back in, basically, kind of like by luck. or bad luck.
Yeah, backdoored himself back in.
And again, he was fine, kind of in the middle. Finally was eliminated at 5, which was about it was, I mean, outside of this episode anyway, it was about the right place for him to go, probably.
Right.
But for the first time that I can remember in forever, there have definitely been at least a couple of these, but he had what could generously be described as kind of a meltdown at judges' table. He was argumentative. He was like after he'd been eliminated, he's arguing. He's like saying like, "What were the rules of this challenge?" And they're like, "It was this." And he's like, "Oh, okay, that's what I thought." And like being kind of snippy and kind of basically like insinuating that like you made a mistake, like you did not, you like your judgment is wrong. I should not have been eliminated. And that kept going.
The other guy next to him, who was not the guy that didn't get eliminated,
Right.
He was kind of throwing him under the bus, but this guy, the other guy, was just like, "Dude, just stay cool, bro. Stay cool."
I don't know if he was throwing him under the bus or if he was throwing, or I mean, it could have been anybody, but it was like, because there were people. This is on the Reddit boards, but like there were people who were saying like they thought that maybe he was throwing Rhoda under the bus, who won, but because everyone was like, oh, her dish was arguably the furthest from the challenge, from the prompt, right? Because her dish was the least, like highlighted the southern ingredients the least. But she won with that dish, whereas his dish was clearly definitely the worst.
That melted.
Yeah, because it was too hot.
It was like this runny, gross stuff, and like, it looks so unappetizing.
So it definitely, at least again, you know, they can edit it to tell their story, but based on the edit and based on the comments, it was pretty clear that he had the weakest dish and should have gone home.
Yes.
The other thing was that in his exit, like there's always a little blurb where they say like, oh, you know, it's tough to go home, but I'm glad I came here. I learned so much, made some friends, blah, blah, whatever, you know. He was like, can you show me a copy of the rules? And they have him like reading, they had printed a copy of the rules for him and he's reading it off like in his like exit blurb because he was still so pissed off. And I don't actually, the weird thing is I kind of don't, everyone's bagging on Seeger for this. I don't hate Seeger even after all of this. Like, I think it was right to eliminate him, but I think that like, I don't know, there's a weird, it just feels like he's like, for whatever reason, he's particularly emotional. I don't know if it's something going on personally or if it's just, that's just who he is. I don't know. But it felt like on the edge of being an unfair edit, even though it also could have been much, like they arguably could have cut out a lot of things that would have made him look worse.
Yeah.
So either the edit where all the people were saying this dish is shit, or the edit where the judges were actually talking about how he and Jonathan were both equally
right.
Yeah, well, one of those two was wrong.
Well, I did feel like the problem, or one thing that they could have run into there, is that they did have to, I think it seems like it was clearly he had the weakest dish. He was obviously going to go home, but they still have to preserve the pretense of we're deciding between these two. It's really close. So I could see that, you know, him getting enough of that feedback and hearing like, oh, it's not a sure thing. Like it could be either one of us. And then that making him feel like, you know, so it's setting himself up to believe he has a shot when he has no shot. Yeah. I don't know if that's, I mean, who knows, but that's in my mind, that felt like one thing where like the show format kind of built him up in a way that, you know, would make, if you're already upset, would make you more upset.
Yeah. I don't know, man. How surprised are you going to be if your runny pate like gets you voted out? Like that clearly he had to know that didn't turn out. Was that what he wanted?
He had hoped to chill it better so that it wouldn't be running. Yeah, but it was a hot day, and
he defended it, but he's kind of been that's kind of been his MO, like, whether I don't know, it's hard to know whether he believes it or not, but even, like, the last time he was eliminated, he was like, "I stand by, what I did," even though what he did led to the mistake that sent him home. Um,
Yeah.
so, I don't know, it's hard to know what it is. The other thing that I thought was interesting is, which I had forgotten, but people were comparing this to, there was a big meltdown in I think it's season 8, it's Jen Carroll, um, and that's, like, considered the biggest meltdown at judges' table, and people were like, "Oh, the difference is she was going through withdrawal because she was, like, an alcoholic bottoming out," and
Oh.
Oh,
so they're
oh.
like, "That's very different." Um, but anyway,
Seeger is very arrogant, but he also has a very good, dry sense of humor. So the sense of humor evened it out for me. I liked him too.
that's the problem, is that he does feel like, and, like, over the season, like, you could see, like, they showed other chefs going to him and being like, "Does this taste right? Does this seem right?"
Right.
So, they trusted him on some level.
Yeah.
But anyway,
And Rhoda won because of his buckwheat.
that's true. He told her to buy buckwheat, and that was, like, highlighted as the key ingredient. So, I don't know, but anyway, Top Chef, it was just interesting because it's been a weird season in that there hasn't been a lot to talk about, but this was kind of a weird, shocking moment to talk about.
Yeah.
Also, I know we're about to go, but I just wanna say briefly because, I discovered it for the first time, so this show has never been on the air until this weekend. F1 Drive to Survive. You guys, F1 is a thing. My wife started watching it for some reason, and then we watched basically the whole last season over the weekend.
Is this
Um,
the Netflix one?
the Netflix one, yeah.
Yeah,
It's very
where it's like the real F1 drivers?
yeah, it's basically
Yeah.
Welcome to Wrexham, but for F1.
Wait, is
My
this the
friend
thing
is
from COVID?
obsessed with it. Yeah,
Uh,
I think so.
I guess it
It
started
got
before COVID, but I think it
and it
blew up
got really
during
big at
COVID.
COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people
Oh,
were desperate.
and
But because
you're
of this,
just
I
finding it. I
understand
see.
now why, I get why people have gotten into F1. I understand, like, the draw of it. Um,
But is it the sport that's the draw, or is it the personalities? Because it
well,
seems
to
like it's
me,
the drivers, at least in the show.
that's the funny thing is, like, I don't know, I've watched a little bit of racing, like, over the course of my life, like, not a lot, but, like, I don't know, as a kid, I was like, "Oh, Indy 500, these cars are going fast, that's cool."
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but, uh, but I think the thing that's really fast, like, the show does a very good job of dramatizing the sport between, like, the personalities of, like, the drivers, the ego of the ownership and the heads of the teams, um, and the way that, like, people shuffle around and all that. So, weirdly, I almost feel like I mean, I haven't watched an actual F1 race since this past weekend, but it seems like we're headed down that road, so I will probably see an F1 race on TV soon enough and find out if I actually like watching racing. But, um it really works as a narrative story, like,
yeah,
the way that they build it, the way that, because they build, at least in this season, they build these stories about the different teams, so they're focusing on the different teams over the course of the season. Like, one episode is focused on one team generally,
right.
and then so
Yeah,
they kind of go back and forth in time, like, like, they jump back to the beginning because 'cause they're covering a different team and, like, showing, like, what they were going through up until, towards the end, and then the end is just kind of the end.
yeah,
Um but I don't know, it's fascinating, and it's weird that, um, I don't know, the drivers are all, like, most of them are in their 20s, and they're, like, you know, good-looking guys who drive really fast, and they all have model girlfriends, and, like, the owners are all, like, really cocky, or, the heads of the teams are all, like, really cocky guys who know the sport and are, you know they all have accents because most of them are European.
yeah.
Um Ferrari's run by an American guy, and it seems like that might be a culture clash, but they're good, so, or was it Ferrari? It was McLaren. Anyway, one of the teams, like, so there's, like, that whole thing, I don't know, it's fascinating, and, it's also interesting because during the races, you get a lot of the chatter, it's narrated essentially by the chatter between the drivers and their teams.
Right.
So you're getting like a very different,
View of it than what
it's just a cool view of it to see them being like, I can't do anything, like the car won't go, and being like, oh, that's why he comes in 7th, even though
Yeah.
he's one of the, he is like arguably the greatest driver in the world, but like his car's fucking up. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, it does make driving such an interesting sport because, like so many other sports, you think it's so much about the physicality of the player, their talent, their skill, and yeah, maybe there's a racket or a ball or a whatever, but and with driving, it's your reflexes as a driver, your instincts,
right,
and every mechanical part in the car.
right,
And all of it has to work.
right. Which is why, like, it's insane that, again, these are all things I just learned this weekend, so I'm very excited about it. But that, like, because they designed the car at the beginning and you basically can't really change it. So, like, last year, McLaren wins the team challenge. Like, they blew everyone out because their cars were just so much better.
Yeah.
Just for whatever reason, their car was way better last year.
Yeah.
And then this year, Mercedes clearly has the best car. There's the same drivers, but all of a sudden their guys were already good, but their guys are winning everything now. So
well, I'm really excited for this journey that you're going on. And if you get really into cars, I would be happy to point you towards some of the better Top Gear or Grand Tour episodes that particularly the ones where they go through some of the history of these, like the big moments in history for these manufacturers and these races, because they do a really good job kind of painting that picture historically. And just saying, join me.
I've never cared about cars before, but this might be.
But you're beginning to see where it's not just about the car. There's a story beyond the car.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is what, especially the like documentary segments that they would do for Top Gear and the Grand Tour captured really well. Like they were very good at telling those kind of stories. So,
well, we'll see. Anyway, that's the show. We'll be back next week, probably. I mean, there's always a chance of something weird happening. There's a cat wandering around. He's very happy. Have a good night.
What has he done?
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.